Underwater communication like dolphins.
Oh no, that's a UFO.
Those guys are just being.
Does anyone else notice what appears to be a demon flying? Because this is tonight.
You swear to God? Get the out of here! Let me see that!
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another Bryce is Right. I hope y'all all had a great freaking week. Hope y'all getting ready to start this weekend off right, that Bryce is Right way, of course, where we dive deep into some of the creepiest and freakiest videos I could find in the deepest, darkest corners of TikTok. And nah, these aren't your ordinary videos. They're gonna be blowing your mind, making your head spin, and having you question your reality. But yeah, y'all know what to do. Go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss out on any future content, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what's up. About a month away, we're gonna have a lot of fun, so get ready, y'all. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Let's get it.
Yo, I found another wild headline for you. Did you see this one? 1,000 AI chatbot agents were released into Minecraft, into their own Minecraft world.
See his wife back there? She's probably as mad as mine is.
Community. They created their own currency. They created their own government. They created their own tax laws that they voted on. When members of the community would go out adventuring, if they were gone for too long, they would form search parties. They would get worried about other Minecraft players. There was even some Minecraft AI agents that were worried about the environment. They became eco-conscious in a digital, simulated world. If y'all don't think that you're just a meat suit, simulated consciousness, participating in this AI version of reality, I mean, seriously, it's not that far off, is it? We're pretty close now. Just strap on the VR and go inside a virtual world. You can be anybody.
Bro, y'all tell me if I'm tripping. When y'all by yourself, bro, like you know you're in the house by yourself, do y'all see like shadow figures walk past and then disappear? Like out the corner of your eye, like you know it's a shadow, like a big shadow just walk past and then disappear deep like, and then it's nothing there. I can't be the only one, bro. Like,
Hey, I mean, some of us see that and some of us don't. So, I mean, if you are, don't be alarmed. Don't be afraid. Think of them as like positive guardian angels. I mean, if some bad stuff's going down, I'm sorry, you're going to have to call the Ghostbusters. Speaking of the Ghostbusters, why does that look like Slimer? What is that? Is that one of those organoids?
Did you do Trump face? Like, could you do a Trump face? Yeah, that was pretty good. I saw it there for a second. Yeah.
What the Whoa. It's like fireflies, right? Dang, how far is that going to go? And what is it?
If you live in any of these highlighted regions, and specifically North, Central, and South America, you're about to experience something crazy. The moon is going to pass behind Earth and through Earth's shadow, and then it's going to look like it turned red. What you're going to be seeing is a full, total lunar eclipse. And these somewhat shaded regions here are going to experience a partial lunar eclipse. This is going to happen on the night between March 13th and 14th, and the moon is going to look red because the light that's hitting it has traveled through our atmosphere. So the sunlight's going to reach Earth, and our planet and our atmosphere is going to scatter all of the blue light, which is why the sky is blue, and the red light is going to keep traveling, which means it's basically a giant sunset on the moon. I can't possibly tell you the times to look up for all of these cities, but if you're on the east coast of the United States, it'll be around 3 a.m. on March 14th. But please look up the time for your city. This is going to be so cool, and it's going to be especially cool because a total lunar eclipse is only seen from any one location on average about every 2.5 years. Happy moon gazing!
What's up, blood?
That's gonna be cool. Everybody's gonna be freaking out about end of times. Don't worry, we're good. I think we'll talk about it soon enough. I thought somebody was on the mattress or on the futon. Ooh, what is that purple balloon? I don't think that was a balloon.
Do not ever let your plants listen to rap music. What? Wait until you hear this. You're going to be like, what is going on? And it's shocking. Okay, so this all started with birds. Basically, as it became known, when birds chirp, the frequency and vibration of their chirps. You know how they chirp about an hour or two before sunrise? Their chirps are an alarm clock. The frequencies wake up plants and tell them to get ready for photosynthesis. And this is called sonic bloom.
Hey, you guys are watching Bird Up, the worst show on television.
Perfect. So then people just got a crazy idea and thought, what if we continuously expose plants to frequencies from music? And what would happen? Well, this guy in the 1960s exposed Boston plants to classical music and found that their growth rate increased by 20% compared to a control group, along with a 72% increase in biomass. Then he exposed them to old school classical music and increased their yield 25 to 60% more than the national average. And this is because the frequencies stimulate the plant's transportation of nutrients, proteins, and organelles in their fluids of the plants in the cytoplasm. And yes, birds chirping wakes up plants and it helps them grow. I know it's insane. But listen, they did a study in Australia, and basically, obviously plants don't have ears. They have a part of their body, of their plant body, that just captures the sound's vibration. It is a different way of hearing, but it can be considered hearing. But it gets crazy because they don't like all music. The preferable music genres includes classical, jazz, meditation, singing bowls, violins, and symphonic orchestras. And they do not like metal, hard rock, hip hop, and techno, or high-pitched singing. You know, talking to plants is good, or you can just set up a radio playing the preferred music that would yield the growth. And do the Harlem Shake.
Okay, Bird Up. A little bit of Mozart too.
John F. Kennedy. Some new information has come out about his case. Oh yeah, and it's interesting. So John F. Kennedy, or JFK, also known as JFK, told the CIA that he wanted UFO files released to the public just about 10 days before his assassination. Yeah, that's what's being reported today. According to several news articles, Kennedy wrote a memo to the CIA saying he wanted UFO files released to the public shortly before he was assassinated. Now there's a copy of this memo floating around. And here it is, right here. But some people are very reluctant to guarantee that this is authentic, although it's stated that that memo was obtained by using the Freedom of Information Act. So basically, President Kennedy wanted the UFO information that the government had shortly before he was assassinated. That doesn't necessarily mean these two incidents are related. It could just be a coincidence. Then again, who knows? Hopefully we'll get more Kennedy files coming out in the next couple of weeks. Shabadoo, Bushkies! Shabadoo!
Hey, now that's super interesting, Joe. I appreciate you bringing that up. I mean, of course, who doesn't like the CIA or JFK theories? I mean, they're great. Of course, another wild story. Of course, I'll jump into it a little bit later. I have a great uncle who filmed something, and of course, like Men in Black came and took the tape. I'll tell you about it later. But whew, thanks, Joe.
Oh no, that's a UFO.
What the hell is that?
That's a UFO.
It looked like something from Star Trek, man. Maybe it's going to Disney World.
As the moonshot, it is the first time in the world that a patient has received an artificial heart and been able to leave hospital. The recipient was a New South Wales man in his 40s. We're not able to identify him, but he received this heart in November of last year. He kept it inside him for 104 days, even going home, even doing exercise, before returning to hospital last week to have a traditional human transplant.
I think he was sore initially, but he felt much better. He was very, very grateful.
The Bivarcor heart is a revolutionary design from Brisbane scientist Daniel Timms, who was motivated by his own father suffering heart failure 20 years ago. There are plans now for 4 more Australian patients to receive these devices during the course of this year. Ultimately, the plan is, with this revolutionary design, almost without any moving parts, to take over from human transplants and make them a thing of the past forever.
If you just have one spinning, rapidly spinning disc that's magnetically levitated, there's no mechanical wear, there's no opportunity for the device to fail at any particular time. And so that's the big difference between this technology and others that have come before.
The man who received this heart is now recovering well in hospital from his second heart transplant.
Discovered something like kind of freaky. So our eyes are a piece of clothing. And the part of us, like, they're kind of edges, you know, like, I've just been going, like, you know, feeling them, and then I kind of, like, stay there here, novel and creative, like,
tell me I'll see that.
Like, or glimpse inside of here, and I'm telling you, this Matrix code. I'm not. These are my dear. One of my friends to come over here because
oh my gosh, do y'all see it? It's like the laser level that people were talking about. I mean, I think that's going to be reflection, refraction, and objects on the other side of the room, obviously. It's like the blinds. It's almost like it flips the image, rotates it, mirrors it. I don't know about that one. We'll look back into it.
Those guys are just being mean. Those guys are just being mean.
Bullshit. I feel like I'm calling train. I don't know if that's her heartbeat I'm hearing or mine. Right here, like it almost sounds like a sonogram. That's weird. That reminded me of that clip we've seen in Dallas before that we all claimed it was train tracks. It looked like the previous video she was at an apartment complex though. This one is a little bit different. I mean, it could be the same thing, who knows. It'd be cool if it was dragons.
Hey Nori, come here, check this out.
See that blue around the moon? That's weird.
Look. Did you see that? What? I just saw a plane fly past.
That's weird.
Wait a second.
The future is right now. Underwater communication like dolphins. I'm talking your movements, your bio signals, your thoughts even can be transmitted through the water and read by a device now. It works kind of like your ear. Sound goes through the air, taps the little drumstick on your cochlea like Morse code. That spirals the signal into an electrical signal that your brain can read and process. This thing is wild though. Say a signal is generated in this chamber here. It travels through the main part, hitting these crystal pillars. Those things, when they compress with the sound wave, generate electricity. You're probably wondering what these hollow guys here are for. Each of them resonates at a specific frequency. When they work together, they make sure that the frequencies in the main chamber stays within a certain range. They're like little speed regulators on your car. If they're not there, that little device can't pick it up, like you hearing something that's too high outside of your hearing range. The exact same concept works in high-speed internet, like the fiber optic internet in your house. Same concept. So your movements, your heart rate, even your thoughts, it's separated and organized electrically by the chambers and the pillars. You may be wondering why there's a compass in the image up top here. That's because the device I just described isn't a computer chip. It's one of the most ancient sites in all of Egypt, the Osirion. There are resonant chambers and 100-ton crystal pillars made of granite that had to be moved from 326 kilometers away. And those chambers actually resonate at 68 to 137 hertz. The Osirion is so old, it was excavated by the ancient Egyptians who were building a temple right behind it. That one's called the Temple of Seti I. I'm sure you're wondering why the water's green, but you should be wondering why the water's there in the first place, because it's the desert. Nobody knows. That central island the pillars sit on is also made out of giant blocks of rock. It goes down 5 stories into the ground. Nobody knows how deep the water goes because nobody can get through the mud. You see the corner over here? There was a tool used to flatten the rocks that could scoop it out like butter. Explain that one. Actually, let's run it back a little bit more. You notice anything weird about the stones in the wall? Actually, this one's just for the ancient homies. If you know this one, you know. The reason I use the device as an example is because it uses something called a transceiver, and that's the circuit diagram for it. That is the Osirion from above. A transceiver converts electricity to sound and sound to electricity, or light to electricity, or electricity to light. But you'll learn that that thing was simply built for a ritual. If you're still on the fence, this is the optimal way to set up a 5G array to get the best coverage and best signal. That pattern is called the Flower of Life. That thing is seen everywhere in the ancient world. Now, if you ever visit the Osirion, look at this pillar right here, because molecularly burned into that pillar is the same exact symbol. And the dudes that wrote what this thing was for didn't even have electricity. Someone's got to swim in that still water, though.
That's so freaking cool.
The op of this footage said they were watching TV when they noticed something strange. They stated, something was watching me through the reflection of glass on that painting. This isn't the first time I have experienced strange things happening. Entities are prowl around my house and sometimes cause havoc. I sometimes hear children laughing and have seen hands waving, but nobody is ever there. Is this children haunting me? I'm aware that demons mimic children, so could it be a demon? Watch this.
It looks like a dog, but no, there's a hand there. Holy hell. What are you gonna do? Oh, come on. Don't tell me you're gonna turn them on. The joke's so old. Oh, shit. Does this look like a dog arm? Like a dog face almost? Oh shit. Almost kind of like a serpent head, right? Wow. That's scary. That's probably him. He can see himself.
Fuck this.
Did you see that? Okay. It's always at the very end. Okay, so what is going on here, y'all? Like, this thing is tripping me out. Like, we've seen this multiple times now. It looks like a dang... I mean, I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about it. Or what y'all speculate that it is. Yeah, it looks like an incursion or something from Doctor Strange about to happen. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think, though.
The user named Jordan usually posts videos from her daily life online, and while most of these videos have nothing to do with the paranormal, one of them does. Late one night, Jordan was at home watching TV and recording a short snapshot to send to a friend. She saw something out of the corner of her eye. When Jordan moves her camera to the area, she captured a terrifying shadow figure in the hallway. The small dark figure darted from her room and across the hall. At the time, Jordan was completely alone, ruling this out as a person.
Human interactions that have been documented with some sort of an invader from some other dimension or planet or whatever the fuck it is. He is the most irrational. He's the most analytical. He's the least likely to buy into horseshit, but not dismissive.
That's
of
like the
strange
critical balance, right?
Yes. Well, he's the guy that they modeled the French scientist in Close Encounters of the Third Kind after. So he's been in this game since the 60s investigating these things.
And time in the game counts for a ton. It counts for much. And that's my greatest weakness in a lot of ways, among several, is that I'm just really new to the game. And so I'm constantly like catching up on shit, and as stuff breaks.
Right.
Like Pam Bondi, for example, I have no history on who Pam Bondi is because I wasn't paying attention when Pam Bondi was in Florida. And so I'm having to like play catch up on what was going on.
Right.
And the people that have been here for forever, like the Alex Joneses of this world, the Jacques Vallées, the people that like watch things break live, you just get a different level of context. And then you get like the David Ikes that are like, it's fucking reptiles, dude. They're all reptiles. David, have you seen David Ike coming after me on Twitter recently?
He came after me
dude,
too.
It's so
because
good. I love him.
Make fun of the reptile thing. And it's like, why won't you have me on?
I genuinely really appreciate it. It's like a good time.
But
and it's like maybe there are reptiles. I don't know, man.
He went too far in a time where there was no internet.
Yeah.
You know, he went too far.
It's you get too certain of yourself, right? You think you have the answers and you just keep going.
A little bit of a grift.
Yeah.
With some of these folks. I'm not saying necessarily him, but it's a little bit of a grift.
Yeah. Well, it's an easy temptation to fall into, especially with the internet. Like every single day, people in my position, I mean, people in your position too, like we have the ability to just like, I'm going to get views and money if I drop deep down this grift. But a lot of them are not, like a lot of them, when you look into them, you realize, oh, there's like literally nothing there.
There's a bunch of stuff that's clickbait horseshit for sure.
Or at least there's probably nothing there.
Right?
Yeah. In the United States, I'm here in Mexico, by the way. I had to figure
So
all
it's a
this
whole
out.
thing while ago.
There is Great Lakes.
Same.
Apparently, you guys like huge lakes up north. And people are taking their tiny little guppy goldfishes and they're like, be free, Mr. Water Whiskers. And they drop them off in the Great Lakes. Well, what ends up happening is because there's no natural predation and there's an abundance of food in all the lakes and the rivers connecting to said lakes, there is now millions of these goldfishes and they are
We'll talk a little bit about propaganda and stuff like that at the end, but
the craziest megalodonic goldfish that they found? Ready for this? 67 pounds and 4 ounces. Combined, that is bigger than both of my chichis at this point. You're telling me that these tiny little pets that probably was our first pets for most of us are turning literally into Moto likes you. You know, no freaking way that I'm here on TikTok talking about megalodon goldfish because they're just skipping every Darwin theory evolution, don't call it Pokemon, and they're just putting on some muscle, they're putting on weight. Like, who hurt you, bro? Damn, was the breakup that bad? Because you're literally turning from a little tiny guppy of a goldfish to all of a sudden you're getting edits on TikTok like, dun, 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 dun. You know, those types of edits. But yeah, please, the U.S. government is asking to stop dropping off your
Kobe.
pet goldfishes at the Great Lakes. It's getting really bad. They're an invasive species now. What the hell is going on?
That.
Wichita's crazy.
There's a whole network of tunnels over New York. Just
Tunnels under Wichita?
I'm just gonna drop
Tunnels under Wichita?
A whole fucking sprawling network to the point where there's even a whole generation of people down there who've never seen the sun. I know them. I know it. It's
You
a
know
fact.
people in the tunnels under Wichita?
Yeah, they're not good people.
For real?
Don't ever go there.
I don't even know. I don't even know where the tunnel would start, bruh.
Stay away from the bridges. Stay away from
The bridges?
Yeah, like there's like the Johnny, not the Johnny Mac, the one over here, a little bit further towards MacArthur and shit.
For real?
On Broadway, don't do
What,
it.
the chuds?
There's
I mean, we saw that, or you're gonna see some in a minute, and it'll explain it.
And there's people down there?
Yes.
And you said you met them?
I was forced to, but yes. What? Yeah, that was when I was 16.
What?
We are somehow finding out brand new information about just how bad the Cybertruck actually is in 2025. So a very popular YouTuber named Jerry Rig Everything just put out a great new video on the Cybertruck where he puts the aluminum frame to a very precise test. So one of the craziest takeaways from this video for me is that the Cybertruck's frame is made out of a single piece of casted aluminum, and we already knew that. But what I
That's
didn't know
actually
was that
more cars than
aluminum
you
doesn't
think.
have a fatigue limit, meaning the more that you tow with the Cybertruck, the more you wear down the aluminum frame over time. Every time you tow with the Cybertruck, you're wearing down the frame a little bit, increasing the risk of an accident. So it might not break today, but 3 or 4 years down the road, you might hit a pothole and it's a different story, whereas there would be no problem if you were in a truck with a steel frame. He even proves this in the video, bringing out this truck from 2004 and applying the maximum amount of weight that he can with his excavator to the tow hitch, 10,700 pounds, and it's totally fine. What's even crazier is that the tow hitch on this truck was already bent from an accident in the past, and the excavator was having to get off its own
man. I
tracks
wanted a
trying to put enough
Cybertruck,
weight
but
down to
not
break
anymore.
it. They couldn't do it. Meanwhile, the excavator put less weight on the Cybertruck, and that's what happened. But the entire video is fantastic, and I highly recommend you go watch it.
Have you guys ever heard of the Solway Firth Spaceman? 1964, a man named Jim Templeton. They were at Solway Firth, which is in Cumbria, England. They went out there. He brought his Kodak camera, had his 2 daughters and his wife there, just snapping some pictures. He snapped a couple pictures of his youngest daughter, Elizabeth, and went to develop the pictures. And the chemist is like, this picture was really good, but it's ruined because of someone in the background. And he's like, can I see it? And sure enough, looked at it, and it looks like there's a spaceman standing behind her.
What? What could that possibly be?
He's like, there should be no one behind her because my wife and daughter were standing behind me when I took
And
this
they were
picture.
alone.
They were alone in this field.
Don't love that.
Well, he was so freaked out by it. He just didn't. I was like, where do I go? So then he went to the newspaper, and it just took off. And so it became the Solway Firth Spaceman. Could not figure it out. Kodak actually put out a reward for anyone that could prove that it was
Altered or something, yeah.
in any way. No one could do it. Even to this day, no one can do it. A couple days later, in Australia, they were about to do a test launch of this small nuclear missile. And last minute, they aborted the mission. And what happened was they said that there was 2 people on the launch pad. And when they saw the newspaper of the Spaceman, they said those are the 2 exact people,
That's
figures, whatever they are,
weird.
that we saw on the launch pad.
Oh.
The
Good
exact
story,
same.
though.
And what's crazy, the missile was made in the same region where this picture of the spaceman was taken.
Wow, that's really scary.
Isn't that insane?
This comes from an unidentified person who was taking a live photo of a deer in their front yard. And that's when this face popped up behind them. There was nobody else in the house. But whatever it is, looks demonic. Take a look at this. Tell me what you see.
Cool.
Moving so fast, dude. How is it possible?
What a waste.
I'm holding it still.
What you got, dog?
Hey friends, so just when I thought I had heard it all, I just read the craziest thing and I gotta share it with y'all, okay? So this does have to do with the gray aliens and abductions and sleep, so if any of that makes you a little squirmish, then you might want to turn this off, even though this is going to be a fascinating spin on this subject that you probably haven't heard before. So like another video that I did, we talked about how the gray aliens are like very infatuated with human life, like stuff that we do that we take for granted, like going to amusement parks and playing with our dog and riding a bike and playing games, that kind of stuff. They really want to do all that because they don't have that stuff where they're from. So they want to come into, you know, Earth life and be a human. So one of the ways that they do that is just through the natural incarnation process, through, you know, just becoming a human, through natural human childbirth, right? And being a human. So in this scenario, you are a gray who is having a human life, but you still have a gray body on a ship somewhere, usually right outside of Earth, okay? So this is so fascinating. So when it comes to the abduction thing, when you're sleeping as a human, and we've talked about this in several of my videos, that we have out-of-body experiences every single night. So nearly everybody, Robert Monroe, through tons of research, came to this conclusion that everybody, every night, for the most part, as long as you get to a certain level, stage 3 and 4 of your REM sleep, then you'll actually have an out-of-body experience. Because you got to think about it. Your body goes to sleep. Your consciousness doesn't. Your consciousness never tires, okay? So it goes and does things. Goes to sleep for school, goes and explores, goes and plays, and all that kind of stuff, right? That's what your consciousness does when your body's asleep. Well, these grays, one of the things they do is their consciousness will go back up to their gray body on the ship, okay? And it can come back down and grab their human body and take it up and do things to it, little maintenance and that kind of stuff, okay? And then return it back down. So in some of these abduction scenarios, you are abducting yourself. How freaking crazy is that? Because it's the consciousness, right? So the same consciousness that's in the human body, when your body goes to sleep, the consciousness goes back up to the other body. They come back down, grab your body, take it up, do some stuff to it, drop it back off, right? And you're none the wiser. But it's you the entire time. It's just your physical human body's asleep, you know, but the consciousness doesn't go to sleep, right? And in this case, it just goes into another body, right? And then I guess whenever, you know, whenever the body wakes up and then you kind of resume your human waking conscious life, then the gray probably goes to sleep or is in some sort of stasis or whatever. I don't know, right? That's fun to kind of speculate on. But just the premise of it, that the consciousness can have two bodies in two different places, but when one's asleep, the other one can actually come and pick it up and do work. And
sit. Good girls. Pow. Pow. Whatever. Let me get you a treat. Alright, wait. There it is. There you go. That was fucking weird. Okay.
Oh shit. Damn, my hair's standing up so hard.
Hello?
Do you think it's a loved one or someone who used to live in that house? What would you think makes the most sense? Like Occam's razor style. looks like a spirit.
How about the Werner von Braun one about a guy named Elon that takes us to Mars? Werner von Braun, the fucking Nazi who ran, Operation Paperclip and became the head of NASA.
Super occultist kind of stuff in there.
Writes a novel about a guy named Elon that takes us to Mars. And even Elon saw that and he's like, is this real? Like you would think. There's no way.
Simultaneous to us kind of getting like some version of UAP disclosure that implies time travel.
Yeah.
Which is like, Lord knows what that is.
Right.
But it's just,
While the rich dream of Nazi robots and swastikas, what the rest of us need is warm housing, clean and affordable energy, and cheap public transportation. Shut down the fascists.
What if that's what he's trying to do with all that stuff? Help.
Flying all through the sky, everywhere. It looks exactly like the Dementors from that movie. We'll come right back to this in 1 second because this is tonight. Over the past few days, I've been seeing videos of these black things just all up in the sky, everywhere. And I mean, it's really crazy when you consider everything else going on right now, like the UFO, the egg, the summoning of the egg, and all this weird stuff going on. I mean, you do remember what just happened a few days ago, don't you? And they were trying to say it's debris being that bright in the sky and not falling down, going horizontally with the sky. And remember, these same people want you to think that this is SpaceX, even though all this type of stuff has been in the sky for decades before Space Force even existed. And then this just happened of all nights, and the person wrote Red Moon on the eve of inauguration. In various cultures, a red moon has been interpreted as an omen. In ancient Mesopotamia, it was seen as a threat to a king's life. Did you guys by chance miss the last few videos I did, one with all the prophecies about that one guy, and the other video about the egg and all the occultic things with that? Watch out, the Dementors are gonna get you.
We're cooked. The U.S. battery industry is cooked. Last week, I was in Korea at Inner Battery 2025. It's the biggest battery conference in Korea. And it's massive. The biggest battery conference in the U.S. is the Battery Show in Detroit, at least from like an attendance perspective. And it's tiny compared. It's a fraction of what I experienced in Korea. Korea is from my perspective, is in the future. From their perspective, the U.S. is in the...
If you start talking about little sizes being special, I'm going to say the only person who needs to be cooking is you. You better watch it. I'm just kidding.
Like, we are struggling. We are 20, 30 to 30 years behind the battery industry in China, Korea, even Japan. But there is hope. I was in talks, different conversations about collaboration across borders with these countries, Korea, Japan, etc. Right, we need to have those collaborations. And also there's an industry report in the US called the Liebridge Industry Report. You need to go check it out. Look at the link in my bio. I have a resource there to understand the 5 goals of the US battery value chain. Check it out.
They do that with so many things.
In the world.
Like
a strange
American
sight
Dream,
captured
right?
on camera by a woman in Northern California after a man was spotted climbing out of a storm drain in Stockton.
It was shocking. He looked like this is just another day.
Police were sent to the intersection. Nobody was inside the storm drain at the time, but it was filled with trash, and it's possible that someone was living there.
What in the world?
Police Navidad. No, that's what we were talking about earlier. That dude, I was gonna say, man, the only reason he's talking like that is because he's on meth, tripping balls, or he's just homeless, like asleep, like a food malnourished, But like, if people are going down in these drains, there might be secret passage that just goes deeper and deeper. Like the tunnels underneath LA or wherever those reptilian people live. I'm just kidding. But I mean, if it's there, why wouldn't it be everywhere else, right? Like, wouldn't they be interlinked? I don't know. We gotta find that shit.
Strange sight captured on camera.
The most disturbing things ever said by astronauts. In 2003, Chinese astronaut Yang Liwei was the first person from China to go to space. He was sent up all alone when suddenly, at one point during the mission, he hears a knocking sound on the outside of his spaceship. He recalls it as someone knocking the body of the spaceship, like hitting an iron bucket with a wooden hammer. He wasn't even able to recreate it, and to this day, experts have no idea what it could have been. During the Apollo 11 mission in 1969, when Neil and Buzz were on the lunar surface, Neil Armstrong unexpectedly switches to a medical communication channel and spoke directly to the chief medical officer, saying, and I quote, "They're here, they're parked on the side of the crater, they're watching us." This was revealed in a documentary by former NASA employee Ken Johnston, but the original recordings are of course highly classified. Rumored to be a part of the infamous Apollo 11 missing 2 minutes, where on record Mission Control lost radio contact with the astronauts due to technical difficulties. In another 1995 documentary interview, former NASA astronaut Franklin Story Musgrave claimed to have been followed by a white 8-foot-long snake floating through space.
Is that? Obviously, it's a space snake. There's snakes in space? There's literally everything in space, Morty. Now get the back in the car.
Saying, quote, "On 2 of my missions, and I still don't have an answer, I have seen a snake out there, 6, 7, 8 feet long." He said it appeared rubbery and followed him for quite a long time, floating in or near Earth's stratosphere. In the same interview, Musgrave also cryptically states that other civilizations have been around for millions of years that are doing unimaginable kinds of things. But you know, they were probably all just joking.
The most intelligent computer in the world, called Google's neural network. And it has a deep fake detector program that's never been wrong. You can feed it a video of Biden or Trump. It'll tell you in 1 second whether it's real or not. They fed it pictures of the surface of the moon from the unmanned Chinese probes from 2014. Said they're real. Every Apollo picture it said was fake. It had a fake backdrop. It was taken in a television studio. That's the most intelligent computer in the world who can understand the pixels. One of them, it suggested that this wasn't even a full-size lunar module, that it was a miniature. And that's how they were able to do wide landscapes, because one of the astronauts' figures, the AI said, was a miniature because the footsteps, shadows, weren't normal the way a person would walk, that they were stamped in there with a fake footprint.
And I don't mess with these little...
Tell your dogs to leave the room for this one. Okay, this is a bizarre story. So that's the infamous elevator from Severance that marks the character's transitions from outies to innies. But it turns out there's one group that's not so sure about the series. Dogs. Pet owners have taken a TikTok to share that their furry friends have these wild reactions to the show.
That's true.
More than one? Well, the dogs, they're getting noticeably worked up when Severance is on. It's a slow burn here. Jumping at the...
And that dog's just... Nobody has a good feeling about Mr. Milchick, first off.
...of the elevator. So they bark at the key cards that are being swiped. They hide in other rooms altogether. Some viewers even taking matters into their own hands and watching with AirPods or with subtitles. Which
Scientists have created super skin that can self-heal
90%
of damage in just 4 hours.
Yeah, I only watch that show with my AirPods and subtitles because I have to do it in the early morning before everybody wakes up. I ain't got time to watch TV. But I watch Severance. Paradise, man. Oof. If you got any suggestions for some shows, let me know. I need something to watch right now.
This is where it gets really freaky. I got goosebumps. I'm scared, bro. From Albert Einstein, it says, "I'm not sure which weapons the Third World War will be fought, but the Fourth World War, they will fight with sticks and stones."
Yeah, I've heard that.
Day one of AI taking over, it was contained to its own server. The AI figured out with like a Roomba vacuum, that's the only thing it could figure out how to connect to.
That'd be cool.
So it put all of its information onto the Roomba computer, and then that allowed it to connect to the Wi-Fi, which allowed it to
Looks like a Terminator's coming pretty soon.
Laptops, and then it spread instantly across the whole world. It was in control of 3D printers, of manufacturing things to help build itself.
Yeah.
But it was doing it silently with no one knowing, because it was
They've
just
always
on
said that.
radar. Until the one time, it was like 40 days into it, it decided, I don't want humans anymore.
Dude.
It like went into this whole thing to where shut down the power plants. It messed with like the Wall Street, like finances, people, just chaos. Developed its own killing drones to survey all of Earth. Like if a human was found, it would kill it. And he's like, obviously the story is made up. He said the story was made up by AI when I asked it to make up a story of how it would take over.
Just a hypothetical. Lily, are you doing okay?
You
guys are going to hell.
Come on. But hey, thank y'all so much for tuning into another Bryce is Right. I hope y'all have a great freaking week, great freaking weekend, you know. Enjoy your day, make it yours, stay positive, you know, look at that glass like it's the only thing there, and be happy you got it, because you can fill it with something, don't matter. But yeah, I just want to speak to you a little bit about this whole what's it called, propaganda and moderation. Okay. So, well, first off, moderation needs moderation, y'all. So, do what you can, but just make sure you're not doing it all day, every day. It's kind of like if you're on a racetrack, you know, you cannot have your foot just on full blast that whole time, you know. You got to let off the gas, kind of hit the brake so you can turn the steering wheel so you can make those tight turns, you know. If you're just full on gas, you know, you're going to crash. You're not going to be able to make that turn. So, you got to learn how to use your other abilities to shape your reality into something that you can make run so much smoother. That's where the saying work smarter, not harder comes through. The more you can multitask, the more you can see in front of yourself and, you know, get to that second degree of thinking. Yeah, I don't know. But really the takeaway is just like moderation needs moderation. Whenever you can understand that, kind of unlocks kind of a cheat code for you to where you can understand things a little bit better. If it's over your head, don't worry. Wait for time to slow down a little bit and just focus on the other things you're worried about right now. It's okay to live life and be crazy, have some fun, get in trouble. It's okay, you know, but do it as responsible as possible. You know, try not to get in trouble. Make sure you don't get in trouble. But secret is everybody does bad things. Everybody has done something, just not everybody gets caught. So I'm just super excited for the channel, what's about to come, how it's going to evolve. So stay tuned, keep the notifications turned on. Definitely smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't so you don't miss out on any future content, and leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's talk about it, let us know what's up, you know, all the above. Just have a great weekend, y'all. We'll see you next time. All right, y'all. Peace.
I learned how to get along, and so you're back from outer space.
Matt Rive. Oh my god.
I'm not gonna throw it. Imagine how fucked up. This is somebody else's kitty. This is somebody's livelihood.